have family over the mountain who said for their local rainfall, this was a 40-year flood event. You see how the road's washed out here?
Yeah.
Last night, that whole creek was full to the road there. Wow. So we're just out surveying the damage, and then we'll switch to last night and show you what happened at our place when this actually all went down. Wow. Look at that. That's a brand new road and culvert they put in. And that culvert matches the size of a lot of others, but look at it. Man, it's like literally within a week of it putting that culvert in, they were faced with this massive, massive event. And look, you can't even drive across there now. This is actually the bridge I was coming to check because this is the lowest bridge on our path to town. I was coming to make sure it was still here. And it is. It did have a lot of water on it. Look at that. It's high, but gosh, you can look from the grass on the other side and you can see it was like several feet higher last night.
You made a dam last time.
I know. We like to swim down there, and normally that's a massive beach area. So it'll be... Wow, look how high it comes up on that island. That's crazy. This flood has been disastrous for some people, and we've had our small share of really unfortunate just mess and destruction at our house, which we'll show you. But make sure you stick around to the end because it has a surprise ending, and it's actually a really cool outcome that I didn't expect. Where did that big old bridge beam come from? Somewhere up here.
Had a crazy storm. This is a record storm here in North Carolina. I don't know how many years of a record it is, but this is bigger than any storm, any rainstorm and windstorm, mostly rain we've had for at least 6 years. And things have just gotten crazy at the homestead. So I'm coming to kind of survey the damage. Some of the roads down the road, like Brio and I were just at the hospital, and some of the roads down the road are totally undercut. The bridges are covered with water. One of the bridges between us and town, civilization, is covered with a foot of water. Never seen that, so I'm just going to show you some of this. The neighbor's driveway is pretty badly rutted here. I'm a little worried about this shed. I think it'll be fine, but it's right by the creek. Well, I think it's fine. Fortunately, our house is completely outside of any danger of flooding ever. Just where it's built, it's up on a hill. I actually like that about our house. So I came down here for one disaster. I'll get to that in a few minutes, and it's a pretty big deal, and it means I probably have to spend the next hour or so. Grace is gonna help me busting out so that we don't lose a bunch of materials. I'll show you that. But when I got down here, I immediately found another mess. Basically a flood damage that's like, oh, I have to do something about this now. And this has never happened. Nothing like this has happened since we've lived here. I've got to unplug this first so I don't get shocked. Oh my gosh, I just keep finding more things. Oh my gosh. There is a solid 8 inches of water. No, 6 inches of water under our house. That's no good. And there's an electric cord running into it. I'm not going in there. I'm gonna wait and I'll... Okay, this is actually, I'm shocked at this, but like we've had a little water down here, but not for a long time. But this literally No. We're not getting in the water. There's an electric cord running through that.
I'm just gonna stick it.
So before we go down there, we're gonna shut the power off.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go in the water at all.
But what actually happened here, I believe the water literally ran on the surface and ran into here. So that's the problem I'm gonna have to address just for like long term. Like if we have I don't know, every 10-year rain, we could have that fill up with water. So that means I need to extend my grading on that side of the house. Okay, so I didn't even know about that till just now. Okay, I need to check and make sure my freezers are actually on because my freezers are on that extension cord. Yep, freezers are all on. I'm checking the lights on the freezers. So that extension cord in the water, that's not ideal, but it is one continuous extension cord that has a loop sitting in the water. So theoretically, it's not a problem. It's not cool though. And what I'll have to do tomorrow is shut off all the power, get down in there, shut the power off in the house and then siphon that basement out and then dig. Okay, here's the big one I found that I wasn't expecting. I'm actually seeing this for the first time. I just saw it from the road. So I had this little extension fence out here. Technically, our fence is completely washed out because the cows have an open path to get out. Now the goats would never get out because they won't come out in the rain, but now that the rain's let up, like potentially they could escape. This fence was standing and it was up here, but the debris and the water has just ripped it out of the ground. Oh man, it's gonna be really a pain in the butt to recover this fence. And this, look at this, it's just all a giant wad. Okay, what happened is this culvert oh my gosh. This culvert just got maxed out. This is on my neighbor's culvert. There's a bunch of stuff on the fence right here. And this culvert just got maxed by the volume. And then the water ran up and over and just came down and just obliterated that fence. This log is an old fence post. And this log was 100 feet up there, buried. So that's great. Now I can just grab it. This stuff here, I'm gonna have to deal with in the morning, coming through and clearing the fence because I have actually a pretty big job up the hill that has to happen now. So what I can do with this for now is just shut the barn door so that this little section out here, so the cows can't escape. So I'm just gonna do that right now. But you literally can see like the cows could walk out as is. If I hadn't caught this or I'd been out of town for a day, ugh. Will you do me a favor and throw them a little bit of hay and then come up the hill? Just like a quarter bale or a half bale. She's just mooing over there. Okay, here's the, dang it, what a mess. What a mess. Concrete. This concrete was covered with plastic, weighted with rocks, and I guess the wind was just that bad. This concrete is still covered and it's not buried in water. Okay, so the reason I came down is because I have to use that concrete and I have to use it now. I came down specifically right when we got her home from the hospital to check this pile. And I don't know how long the plastic's been blown off, but I have like an hour or two maybe, because it's not set, to get this mixed and into that ditch. But that ditch is completely flooded with water. So
There's good news. I
What's-
can help you mix now because I'm not going to breathe in the dust.
yeah, it won't be dust. It will be dusty in the middle of them maybe. But so what we need to set up siphons right away. Anyway, what we're gonna do is set up siphons immediately. Will you go get the? Hey, listen, go get the other big fat red hose, so we can siphon both at once, with both at once. What did you say about that?
That's okay.
Anyway, get the other hose. We're gonna start multiple siphons. Okay.
Check it.
Okay, so we got the siphons set up. Let's check out the inside of the house and see how bad the damage is. Oh man, I actually think, interestingly, the water's approximating where the concrete's gonna go. I actually think some of that water in the basement ran through here, because when you look over here, maybe it didn't. Here, shine the light up under there. No, it's actually a little. So the area that was flooded is right down through there, through a little door there. So I don't think it could have flowed.
It's not right through here.
I don't think it could. Could it have? You think
Plus, it can go through dirt, you know.
Shine it right down in there. It could. Oh man, it could have actually gone through there. And those are not live electric lines, by the way. Those are all ripped out. Basically, what we're dealing with is this is like probably a 10-year rain event, and my grading isn't done. My grading still slopes to the house, and so we just got hammered by this rain. If my grading was done, and we're so close, we'll have it done really soon, but if that grading was done, none of the water would have hit the house, because it'll slope away from the house in two directions that it doesn't now, plus that will slope to the creek. Like, this would never have happened, but it does show you how much water we're dealing with, even though we're on top of a hill. We're like on a ridge. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Gosh, Grace, that water, that's gonna take forever to empty that water. That's gonna take forever. Forever. You can see the little piece of slab that I started the other day. Yeah. So basically what we're gonna do here is wait a little while for that water to drain, to siphon down, and then we have to get all that concrete in the ditch. Concrete's pretty cheap, but I do not want to waste all that concrete, and I don't want to have to order more and waste that money when it's here. So we're gonna get it mixed and in the trench, and then hopefully, it's gonna be probably too dark here soon. Hopefully I can show you what it looks like tomorrow morning and how successful we were. It's actually beautiful this evening, isn't it? The light's really pretty. We're just waiting on that ditch to drain. But it's turned out really pretty this evening. Mold supplies, one last supply. Grace, great job. We knocked out a ton of work. High five. Other hand high five that way. Bam! Alright, we did a ton of work. And surprisingly, actually got a lot done, so. It was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, but we got it done.
Oh yeah, that's it.
You know what's crazy about this one is something that I was thinking, this is a disaster, actually turned out really well, because I got to spend some quality time with my oldest daughter, and I was forced to finish this job. And that's the cool news. We actually finished the footer in like 2 hours. Just dumping, if the bags were soaked, we were dumping them in, mixing water in dry bags,
pouring it in, and we finished this footer completely done. Now, it's the ugliest footer I've ever poured, but it's there. It's the right dimensions. It's the right depth. It's got its rebar. And that's it. Anyway, happy ending.
Okay, let's take a peek at how this turned out. It was pitch black. We had one light when we were working on this last night. There's concrete. That looks good. Yeah, it got rained on some after we poured it, so we'll have a little bit of surface slough that I'll have to rub off with a brick. But there it is. It's flat somehow, and it's in there, which is amazing. Look at that. All done. That's a big thumbs up.